Nerd on the Podcast is proudly partnered with Apogee Electronics and Odyssey Headphones, leaders in the field of audio.
Attention, please be advised. The following episode contains spoilers. Don't say we didn't warn you.
King Kong puts his shoulder back in place, and then he has this look like, I'm about to F some shit up. F some S up. And
because this is a PG-13 film.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd on the Podcast you didn't need, but you deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome.
yeah, you are.
The time has finally come for the two titans in Legendary's Monsterverse to come face to face. Though it's not the first time, but it is for this generation. And today, we are going to go into the deep dwellings of the hollowed earth to discuss our topic, Godzilla vs. Kong.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun.
Godzilla. I just remember that from the last one.
Yeah,
them
I'm very excited to talk about this. Yes, today's hosts are me, Caitlin. Hi.
I'm Tom.
What just happened? I'm Josh, and this episode is, as always, brought to you in part by the members of the Nerd On Nation. That is powered by Patreon. As a member of the Nerd On Nation, you do get fun perks. Like you get early access to these episodes. You also get bonus episodes that nobody else hears. But wait, there's more. You get access to secret channels on our super secret but public Discord server. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. You get perks, but you also get to, at the same time, support us. It helps us to be the best that we can be and to keep growing. Like, our content, I was looking at videos. I can't speak for everybody else, but I was looking at videos at the beginning of this quarantine in March 2020 and ones recently, and we have upgraded so much over the past year, and it's because of the Nerd On Nation. So
I think what I said was, it's like we're little baby ducklings. And in the beginning, we were like little baby ducklings, like waddling around, running into each other, being like, I don't know what's going on.
yeah. Well, we decided on the spot. It was the week after our live show, and we were like, we had such big plans. We had a meeting. We were like, that went great. And then next week, we were like, so over the garden wall, we do from home? Yeah. Yeah.
We should set an example that we can do it, so we should all do it.
Yeah, we learned. But anyway, so check out that Nerd On Nation, nerdon.tv/Patreon, and check out that Discord. Continue the conversation over there, nerdon.tv/Discord. And a big shout out to our partners, Apogee and Odyssey. Apogee have equipped us with this ultimate podcasting microphone, the Hype Mic. We use it for everything in all of our content right now, streaming, videos, everything. So check it out. Hype Mic. It's so good. So good.
I even use it for self-tapes, y'all. It's real good.
Yeah, it's real good. You can also use it on like your iPhone, iPad, on your
for
PC.
auditions on the go.
Yep, exactly. And also Odyssey headphones. We have their LCD ones for our podcast recordings. And we also use their Mobius, which is their 7.1 headphone, which is incredible. So check it out. Yeah, Odyssey. And they're a really amazing company. A lot of really great people over there. And even if you look at your website, you would think that they're like this giant company. But no, they're like this small company that have reached great heights. And they're amazing. And last piece of business. If you like what you hear today, stop by, rate and review us wherever you listen, whether it's on Podchaser, iTunes, Apple Podcast, anywhere that lets you rate and review, stop by and do that. YouTube too.
You guys, when you rate and review our show, it's like getting to see two really giant monsters that you love getting to fight epically. And
and then at the end they make up, and then you go,
at the end they make up, and then they do a dance routine, and then they do a jig off into the sunset. Like, that's how cool it is to get reviews.
No, not Tom. Don't listen to Tom.
It's like that. Don't listen to Tom. Don't look at the video.
I didn't say anything. Y'all are just pointing out that they should be watching on YouTube.
Anyway, that's what it feels like. Let's do some talking about.
I'm sorry. I lied. I'm a liar. Because this is important. On our, speaking of the Nerd On Nation from before, we're very close to our next goal, which is 60 members of the Nerd On Nation. And when we reach that goal, the Nerd On Nation gets to pick a topic for one of our episodes. So
Battle Royale style.
we were just gonna like ask them for opinion. I didn't think.
But you could help us get to that goal with listeners like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get into this titan of an episode.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
First, we get into all of the nitty gritty of our favorite parts and all that good stuff. We have to go over our first 2 segments because we like to get the audience involved, and we also like to kind of give people a taste of things to come. And I like to come. So, what the fuck? I don't know where I was going with that.
I had so much joy in my face and it drained away immediately.
Because, all right, so at the end of the episode, we're going to rate it. Sorry, Corey's not here, and I think he holds the line.
He's your balance.
He broke
He's your
himself.
balance.
He's even like, I shouldn't have, I've made a huge mistake.
I should have said that.
Should have said that. I'm sorry, children. I'm sorry, parents. Turn this off for the kids. But so we're going to rate it at the very end of this episode, right? And so that's going to bring us to our first segment, which is going to be Guess That Grump. Dun, 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 dun.
And King Kong.
Why did you say that name?
Friends, but they fight each other. Mothra.
You know, I thought with Corey not being here, it would be a little bit shorter, but not never mind.
Nope. I wanted to have his spirit here.
I think it's appreciated. I think the listeners, they care and they like it. So if you're brand spanking new to Nerd On, welcome. And Guess That Grump is our first segment of the show where we are going to go around the digital screens. Like I mentioned before, if you're not watching on YouTube, you should be. And we're going to guess who's going to have the lowest score from 1 out of 5. No matter how high the number is, the lowest one will be the Grump for the week. And since I always explain it and I never get it wrong, and I also have to do the duty of looking up the poll from our other place I'll talk about soon. Caitlin, you go first.
I think it's going to be Tom.
Ugh, me. Okay. So now I got to write this.
Well, he's
Sorry.
ready now. I will go
Sorry.
next. I think it's going to be Corey.
Corey,
okay.
what?
Yes. So Corey did give me its explicit instructions that since the poll went up and then he is out because he is having to deal with fucking family,
But he's not. He's actually got the
having a
opportunity
great
to
thing.
check out a home.
Yeah.
So we're all very excited for him.
Yeah. So he is still available to be, and I have the number to
be
his
scrutinized.
Rating. Yes, I have the number to his rating, and so
I still
people
think
will
it's
still get
gonna
a
be
shout
Tom.
out if he is it. And you guess me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1 for Tom. Okay, and then Josh voted for Corey, and then I'm gonna vote for. This kind of sucks because I know Corey's number. I'm gonna vote for. I'm gonna vote for Caitlin.
Smile through it off. Okay.
Okay, so now with my vote in there, we have 1 for me, 1 for Caitlin, and 1 for Corey. None for Josh. But the Nerd On Nation does get a chance to be part of the episodes and part of the fun. If you would like to be that grass-fed Green Lantern, Gatorade, Green Blatt, Godzilla, Gamora, Ghidorah, Guesser, gluten-free.
There we go.
We are
That's
never
for
going to be able to
me?
TM that.
Then you should join the Nerd On Nation, help us get to our goal, and then take part of our weekly episodes where we rate these topics. And they get a chance to vote and then get crowned that non-trademarkable thing. And they have voted, everyone. So
And
the person with the most votes will count as a total vote right now. And Josh.
really?
not Corey.
Oh.
But it's Caitlin.
Oh. You know what? Wait, that was a good toss. That was a good throw off, Tom.
I'm still shaking.
and you want to know what? I think I threw a lot of people off because after I watched the movie, I posted a GIF that I will later explain. Whatever. You say what you want, I'll say what I want. So I posted this, and it was of DK putting his head down and like shaking his head. But I specifically said it wasn't a review.
Yeah. And to me, I was just like, Did she just think of Donkey Kong the entire time fighting?
No,
like,
not at all.
Rool?
It's such a specific thing that I knew I was going to explain on the show.
Okay.
So, but it's very spoiler territory. So
okay,
we'll get to that later
yeah.
in the show when we're in spoiler territory.
We're doing spoiler.
Oh, you're talking about the
to
part
me-
where King Kong throws a barrel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
and then
way to spoil it, but-
and then Mario comes in.
Yeah.
yeah, that part later.
yeah,
but
yeah.
we'll talk about that in the spoiler part.
Yes. So, Kaylin has now 2 votes technically. So the top of the order will go Josh first, then me and Corey. We're gonna have to duke it out. I don't know how this is gonna work out, and then Caitlin will go last.
Okay.
And then now that brings us to our second part of the show, where we're gonna do our complete spoiler of that last segment, which is gonna be our first impressions and our initial reactions. Josh, you go first.
Okay. So I am a sucker for a Godzilla and King Kong movie. Like kaiju, large monster movies. I grew up on them. Like I just love them so much. And these ones aren't any different. When this was announced, I was like, hell yeah, this is happening. So watching it was so much fun. It's a big monster movie. Humans don't even really need to be there. It's just like, yeah, fight. Whoa. There were a lot of incredibly beautiful parts of it. Yeah. I mean, without getting into spoiler zone, I'm just gonna say my initial reaction was like, damn, yeah. Next.
Caitlin, you or me?
You go.
Very much in the same vein. I just like giant monsters fighting. I like giant robots fighting. I like if there is any sense of storytelling that happens there, or a little bit of a cautionary tale, a little bit beyond the text of what's happening. Per example, like Gundam, right? It's like giant robots fighting, but it also is more about the story of like how senseless war is, and that like no one ever really wins. So it's like that stuff. So it's like, what does this film give me? I'll talk about that later, but there's much onset of like when the first 2014 movie of Godzilla came out with Bryan Cranston and everyone got all mad about.
That was so long ago.
Yeah. Everyone was just like, all right, well, when is he going to fight King Kong? That was the first thing people just thought. It was like, when is he going to fight King? It was like, wow, guys, okay.
Let him breathe.
And I was like, let's see him first. This giant chonky boy. He's never been this chonkers. I love that, mainstream media kind of gets a little bit of the taste that I think we all nerdy folk grew up with in that sense. This was beautifully like made. Everything's really pretty. But that's all I'll say for now. There's a lot of numbers in my head right now, and I'm having to like, okay, I can't say this, so sorry. Go ahead. But that's it.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I grew up with my cousin Jerome, who loves Godzilla, King Kong, all the big monsters. So I had been exposed to all of the old Godzilla, King Kong, like all of it. He had every action figure, every DVD, every VHS, like his room was just lined with all of it. So it was really fun to get to come in and see Godzilla versus Kong, because it was just like, oh, this is from that and this is from over here, and they were doing this. And yeah, it was just a great monster movie. But I was surprised that I focused on one aspect of it. Oh, surprise, surprise.
You found them all?
No, not a bad mole. Not a bad mole. It's not a
mole.
It's not something I fixated on in a bad way. It's a thing that I fixated on and was like, oh, but I want more for you. But that's very spoilerful and has to do with what I was talking about earlier. So we'll get to that.
I will say also, just in that same light, I'm much more of a Godzilla fan than King Kong. I've never
Same.
ever really cared about King Kong. I know it's so much more classic in terms of American cinema. But like Godzilla was just, like I grew up with anime and Japanese stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm
I
just
just
more
like
inclined.
Big Lizard. I like Big Lizard. I want him to pew pew. It was cool. You got his blue lasers. It's
I even
awesome.
like the quote unquote bad one, the Matthew Broderick one. And I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that
sure.
one. I actually watched it a few months ago when I knew that this one was coming soon, and we like watched through all of like the WB movies, and we also watched that because I was like, this one is just so silly, but I really want to watch it.
Yeah, Puff Daddy, back when he was Puff Daddy.
Yeah, the artist
Come
formerly
with me,
known as
like-
Puff Daddy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway,
So there you have it, everyone. If that doesn't give you an idea of what the numbers and the ratings are going to be, then we'll get to that later on. But now we'll go into our next two segments, which are going to be our brief synopsis and our production. So take it away.
brief synopsis is brought to you in part. Well, no, it's by me and Google. Kong and his protectors undertake a perilous journey to find his true home. Along for the ride is Gia, an orphan girl who has a unique and powerful bond with the mighty beast. However, they soon find themselves in the path of an enraged Godzilla as he cuts a swath, I like that word, swath, of destruction across the globe. The initial confrontation between the two titans, instigated by unseen forces, is only the beginning of the mystery that lies deep within the core of the planet. Dun, dun, dun. Brief synopsis.
Good job. And the production will be by moi.
Wow.
Distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures, who gave us such things as the Matrix trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, and the Harry Potter series. I was trying to figure out but the director Adam Wingard, his work from The Blair Witch, the remake, not the original, You're Next, and Death Note, the Netflix live action adaptation.
Oh, interesting.
The producers is Thomas Tull from Warcraft, The Great Wall, and 42. Alex Garcia works on Krampus, Enola Holmes, and Kong Skull Island. John Joshny, who worked on Lost in Space, the Netflix show. Straight Outta Compton and 42. Eric McLeod from the work on The Cell, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Bubble Boy. Brian Rogers from Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Remnants of the Fallen. And the writers, so a lot of producers and a lot of writers. The writers, Eric Pearson from Thor Ragnarok, Black Widow, and script doctored work on The Avengers. Max Bornstein, Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So there's that connective tissue there. Terry Rossio from The Lone Rangers, Aladdin, and Shrek. And Michael Dougherty, Superman Returns, Krampus, X2, X-Men United, and Zach Shields, who worked on Krampus, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So a lot of writers, a lot of producers, one director.
Yeah.
The cast, Alexander Skarsgård from The Legend of Tarzan, Big Little Lies, and we all know True Blood, sexy vamp. Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, Enola Holmes, and Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Rebecca Hall from The Prestige, and The Town, and The Awakening. Brian Tyree Henry from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Hotel Artemis. Shun Oguri from Lupin III, Weathering with You, and No Longer Human. Isaac Gonzalez from Baby Driver, Hobbs and Shaw, and Alita Battle Angel. Julian Dennison from Deadpool 2, Shopping, and Hunt for the Wilder People. That's for you, Corey. Kyle Chandler, who recently was trending on Twitter for being a famous white guy that no one remembers his name. Feel bad, man.
Oh.
I was like, that's rude. From Super 8, so you should remember that. And Argo and Friday Night Lights. Damien Bakir from Hateful Eight, The Nun, and A Better Life. The release date for this film was March 31st, 2021. The runtime is 113 minutes, so just under that 2-hour mark. Budget is $200 million, and it grossed. We're here, y'all. It's in theaters. It grossed $285.4 million.
Yeah,
which I think is the most amount of money that any film has made in like the last year, which is wild. So that's definitely a record somewhere. It's definitely like this is the first big blockbuster. after
COVID.
the COVID Chronicles. So the Rotten Tomato score is 76 from critics from 292 users, 93% from audiences from 5,000 plus users.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. With that, now we go into the complete spoiler-full world, and we talk about our favorite parts, favorite characters, and finally we give our qualms and then we rate it. So, who would like to go first?
Me.
Josh.
I have to. I have to.
Do it.
The Hong Kong battle, like the showdown, like. But the other thing that, like, holy crap, amazing. But I was like, the whole time I was like, so much property damage.
Every time they hit a building, I was thinking of like the Man of Steel.
Oh,
I was just like, so many people have died. Oh,
so
many
much
people have
property
died.
damage. This is going to take a long time to rebuild. But it was so beautiful too. There was just so many. They like their neon. Like their neon.
I mean, it looks good. It's John
It's
Wick,
great.
but monsters.
Yeah, exactly. Like there were just so many moments and there's one moment that I just. So it's a whole huge sequence of like the Hong Kong battle and then into fighting Mechagodzilla. But like the moment when like Godzilla picks himself back up, puts his shoulder back in place.
Oh, you mean King Kong?
King
King Kong, sorry.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said Godzilla.
Godzilla. I'm anyway. King Kong, big monsters. King Kong puts his shoulder back in place, and then he has this look like I'm about to f some shit up, f some s up, and
Because this is a PG-13 film.
I imagine
Wow.
King Kong being the kind of guy that would be like, "What the f, guys? This." I'm about to f some s up.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that was dope.
I have a quick question for y'all. Before getting into the movie, who did you think was going to win?
Godzilla, without a doubt.
I kind of thought Godzilla was gonna. I thought that it was gonna be a draw in some way.
So I saw like the director saying like there's going to be a for sure winner, and to me, my mind was like, well, if they're making Kong as a good guy, you kind of already spoiled it. Like he should win, but in my mind, I'm like, but Godzilla has far range attacks.
Yeah,
I was like, he's got range, but also this will be his third movie. This will be Kong's second. We just had more time with Godzilla, so I'm like, I feel like Godzilla
he has
done
so
three.
much. Like Godzilla also has like, I don't want to say otherworldly powers, but he has more to him. But I
Otherworldly
kept
powers.
thinking about King Kong's like mobility. Like when I was watching him, like he has a lot more like you were saying, Godzilla's a chonker. Like when he walks, he's like,
Baby boy.
and King Kong just is like
thick thighs.
And like, yeah, I was just like, this is gonna be close.
I mean, Godzilla. I feel like Godzilla being able to breathe underwater or like being able to be underwater for a long period of time and above water and having lasers and long
Greater
range,
lung
and
capacity.
there's just so many things that were on Godzilla's side that they've built up for him. Like the only thing that they really gave gave King Kong in this was he got bigger and you get a cool axe that eats some laser beams.
Which I felt like with that axe, wasn't that? Didn't it look like a blade?
Yeah, it
of
was.
Godzilla's
It
back?
was a blade from a Godzilla creature,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a Godzilla-like creature.
It was like I think it was one of the dorsal fins, right?
Yeah, the fins are spikes, but yeah, I was like, isn't that a thing? It's not just a regular. That someone died for that.
Yes. They
That
did.
is King Kong flexing.
and having like a femur or whatever as the
Yeah.
handle.
Yeah, which is wild to think about. Kaylin, favorite parts?
The battle in Hong Kong.
So the battle in Hong Kong was, I don't know, there was a lot. I mean, I love all of the things with King Kong. Oh man, the Hollow Earth, all of the gravity shifting. I loved all of that. I also love that Kong figured it out immediately. Just saw the rocks and was like, "Yeah, I'll just jump. It's fine." And then it's just like, "Whoop," and it's fine. Everybody else is like, "Oh shit, we're a tiny bean, and I don't know what's happening." Like, it was just great that Kong was very in control in the Hollow Earth situation when they were so not ready, and when he like slurps the snake wing thing's head like a like
Like
a
a boss.
slushy, and he's like, my thirst has not been quenched in so long. There's just so many things about the Hollow Earth part were just wonderful.
beautiful.
More scary monsters, the little bird bat babies. I
Just
forget
even
what
the
their names
idea
are.
that exists, like it kind of actually opens up like the possibility of worlds, like other movies, like Journey to the Center of the Earth kind of thing,
Mhm.
like the
Being interconnected.
yeah.
Well, I do like the introduction, or at least like the fleshing out of Hollow Earth, because I think they kind of hinted towards it, but like they didn't really go into it. But this kind of like, yeah, where are all these other monsters going to be? And I'm like, it'd be cool if like in one of the crevices or something like that, Gamera shows up or something like that, or like, you know, you have, maybe one of the plant life, something changes and that's Biolante, right? So like I want to see more monster boys and girls. And I think I always just think like that's the thing I love about Godzilla. It's like it's so stupid. If you don't know, Space Godzilla is literally like blood particles that went into like a crystal planet and then mutated and became Space Godzilla. Like that's really dumb.
Hell
It's really
yeah.
dumb, but it's smart. I mean, like I'm about it. It's like with Mechagodzilla, like the whole like how is Mechagodzilla going to become evil, right? And it's always been like I think
Because
in the OG
Pacific Rim.
Yeah, right. It's always been in the OG ones where like they create it, but then it just like stops like being controlled, and then it starts doing its own thing, and then becomes a villain. And like there's multiple versions of Mechagodzilla, so I'm willing. I would like to see it come back again, or also like I forget the one where like they're like they Voltron it, and there's like 4 different parts.
Oh yeah.
And it has like drill fingers.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite parts, honestly, is probably the quote unquote game set match when Godzilla. This is the big spoiler, everyone. Godzilla wins the third round, and Godzilla just pieces out, just walks away. And it's like, yeah, Godzilla just wants to establish, like, yo, I'm alpha.
This is mine.
Get out of here. But like, doesn't see Kong as like a threat. That like, because Kong is like more defensively fighting.
When
if
they're
not,
screaming at each other, like I'm just
yeah,
like, ooh.
and then they're screaming Martha at each other. You know what I'm saying?
Why did you say that name?
Which is an overplayed joke apparently.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the internet already ate that shit up.
Screaming Mothra at each other.
Yeah. No, I just really like that because it was like I liked the idea of like I don't want one of them to die. I think it'd be terrible if both of them die, but I like the overall idea that they can cohabitate. And King Kong is trying to just survive and live and exist in its own habitat, and then Godzilla is literally the force of nature. And
Well, the movie actually ends with them getting to be the apex in their own respective planes. Like Godzilla gets surface Earth and Kong gets hollow Earth. So like they both have their own planets to be the
Their
apex
own
of
realms.
without crossing.
yeah, but even then, like they now have worked together, so like they can
Yeah.
coexist. And like Godzilla literally stopped fighting Kong once,
He
thought
established
Kong
a
was like,
dominance, kind of.
well, like on the ship, and Kong was like, like pretend to be knocked out, and then they stopped all the ships. Where that was like pretty cool because it's just like Godzilla in that nature. It's not something to really be reasoned with, but more like as long as there's no real threat to me, then I'm not going to fight. And
Right.
even though Kong establishes like with that staff could whoop Godzilla's ass, and like once they work together, then it's like, oh, you might be another alpha male or alpha titan, but you are not a threat.
A threat to me.
Yeah, or a threat to other people. And so like Ghidorah was like a threat, and so and Mechagodzilla was a threat. So it was like, and Mechagodzilla later on gets possessed by Ghidorah's brain or whatever.
Oh
So-
man, I had a whole theory of how that was gonna go, which it did not pan out that way at all, which is fine.
It's
like,
fine.
I feel like I create these hyper complex theories that
You
then I
don't
get,
say.
Like, it's my head canon. I did that
No
with Game of
way.
Thrones too, of like how I thought it was gonna go, and then I was like, why didn't you do that? But my thing was, I thought that when the short circuit happened, when he was wearing the Pacific Rim drift compatibility helmet, I thought that his consciousness was going to get uploaded into it, and then it was going to be an internal battle of the minds between Ghidorah and him, and then it was going to be
That would be cool.
And
but
then
not the
his
way it
consciousness would have taken over Mechagodzilla so that that family could then be part of the Titans that help keep the Earth safe. But then when they chopped off an arm, I was like, oh, it's not going that way.
Oh, it's not that. It's not that
It's
at
like,
all.
oh, that's not going that way at all. He
the
just straight
the
up
family
died.
is part of the Titan. You mean Mechagodzilla would be part of the Titans?
No, because it was his son, right, from the previous movie,
Whose son?
from the Godzilla movie, like that.
Oh.
Yeah, the one who detonated the bomb.
Is he? I don't know if that.
I thought that
don't know
was
if-
his son.
I don't know if that's.
Shiro's.
I don't know if that's true. And also there is
I
something.
totally thought that. I
It
might
is.
have literally created.
It is.
Okay,
It is?
so I was right.
Yeah, I just looked at
Yeah, so I thought it was like because he had in my headcanon, I had created the storyline of like he sacrificed himself to save Godzilla, and
Like his
then
father
his
did.
son sacrifices himself and becomes like part of Godzilla in a way by becoming Mechagodzilla. So then his family is actually part of the Godzilla
the Titanverse.
line.
Yeah.
Titanverse. So I thought that was the way that they were going to do it, to utilize his sacrifice as like a no, now you are the forefront of the attack against
Nope.
or like defense for Earth.
That's very harmonizing, but this is a Hollywood blockbuster movie.
Yeah,
where they
I know.
gotta beat up a robot.
then when they
Yeah.
chopped off the arm, I was like, "All right, Hollywood blockbuster. Never mind."
I think that still opens up room for that. Potentially, that character can come back and he could be like, "I saw the error of my ways, and now I have to like."
No, he's dead.
Oh, he's dead. I didn't
Yeah,
see
he
that.
died. No, because the overload. Whenever that happened, he got electrocuted and died.
Oh, I didn't see him like zip up the body bags. I just saw him get electrocuted.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh
That's
my
true.
God.
Show me the body.
Well, and that's
me the bo- I'm
why
very
I
show me
was
the body.
thinking. That's why I was thinking, because of this like drift compatibility thing that his brain was just like uploaded into, and it could be that that's something they're leaving vague on purpose so that they can utilize it later. But that's totally where my headcanon was, and if that happens later and there's a Pacific Rim Godzilla crossover, I love it that I'm right.
I
mean,
mean, speaking
that's
of
too
which, there's a
legendary.
great anime right now, Pacific Rim anime that came out recently. Super good.
Oh wow!
I have
didn't even know
I
that
have
was
a
a
friend who
thing.
worked on that.
Oh, nice.
Um,
And then another part that I love, and it's more of like a over-encompassing concept of it, is the relationship between Gia and King Kong.
Mhm.
I just love those interactions. And shout out to Corey. We were talking yesterday, and he was saying that he could watch a movie that was just them. That was
Oh,
just
yeah.
like there's
Easy.
enough. There's enough.
It's called
there.
Mighty Joe Young,
Yeah, that's actually
and you'll cry.
Yeah.
I guarantee you'll cry.
The cave, the kind of like throne room.
Mhm.
That's what it seemed like. That was just like the magnitude of everything in this, like in Hollow Earth. Like,
But I mean, I have to question who built that.
I mean, it had. I
Kong's
think it's like
ancestors.
it's King Kong's ancestors.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
that's where his family was.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. That's where they were, the staff and the lights and
The
there's
axe.
more and there's there's skeletons. But like I guess for me have not seen Kong in like express that level of intelligence of building. Like using tools is probably like, one of the first few steps of like, oh, and there's greater intelligence with, different species, right? And like it learning American language, specifically sign language. But like, he takes the tree and he makes a spear, a javelin. But I was like, this is like an intricate ass place.
Here's the thing. A lot of the old King Kong movies and whatnot, I think, are even before they established, like even in real world, like in science, like establish the intelligence of gorillas or apes. Like, so it's like,
Before we
since
had
then, it's
Coco.
like we now know, oh, they can learn sign language. They can kind of have some form of intelligence. So it's
But these
like,
are giant
we're used to like,
doors. I was just more of like, I saw giant door, like a chair is fine, light show maybe. Here's making a tool, sure, but this is a
so really we're
hinged
just
door.
it's a giant movie verse that we have created that is going to be a crossover of Pacific Rim,
maybe there was the
WB
first Jaeger.
monsters and Planet of the Apes. Just kind of like,
Maybe the first Jaeger was like a rock golem. and then like the first humans like piloted and then made those doors. I just want to know who made the fucking doors. That's all I want to know. because
Specific.
because
Why
like,
do you door?
Well, and to me, I like it because it lets me explore of like, but who made that? Are we going to talk about aliens now? Like,
Maybe.
that'd be kind of cool. Like, I'm here for it, but I just want to know. I just want to know.
Oh, a
yes.
favorite part within that cavernous room is Godzilla picking up the ship with the evil guy's daughter in it, looking inside me like, nope. I was like, yes. I don't approve of murder in real life, but
Except for
that
now.
one just felt satisfying. Just gonna say it.
I remember seeing Isaac Gonzalez from Man on a Ledge. I don't know if you remember that movie. That was the Sam Worthington film where they're doing like a big heist and the whole thing. But anyways, the first time I saw it was from that, and I was just like, wow. Anyways, Day for Day. And what I was gonna say was no, I liked it's interesting to see the film kind of just be very like, here's the setup, here's Team Godzilla, here's Team Kong, and the two teams never talk to each other. And then, here you go, here's the fights. On such kind of like a high scale level of like high production value. So I just kind of really enjoyed that. I mean, it's hard to kind of like, I think one of the major criticisms a lot of people are talking about is like, there's nothing going on with the human characters other than kind of explaining plot. Which I think they all do quite well. It's kind of like if Michael Caine could just do exposition for every Nolan movie, I'm like, well, then, you let him. So, Kaylin?
I loved how it was almost like they knew the people were great at delivering the information that they needed to deliver, but it's very obvious that like, we know you're not the focus of this movie, you guys. Like, thanks for being here, but you're not. There was literally a
You're
point
cute
when
now,
like
monsters.
Millie Bobby Brown and that little ragtag bunch.
Stranger Things crew.
Yeah, the Stranger Things crew, they like were gone for a long time. And I was watching with a couple friends and they were like, where are they? And then they got put in that ship. I was like, oh, they're going to deliver them to the plot. And they did. They like, and I was like, yeah, guys, just wait. They're on their way to the plot right now. And then they showed up and then they were part of the plot. And I was like, wow.
I will say I really did like when they saw the skull crawlers.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't watch Kong Skull Island. Like I watched Godzilla, then I watched King of the Monsters, and I was like, I just missed Kong Skull Island. And again, I've never really been into Kong as a franchise. I will say I think Kong, like, rendering wise, looks better in Kong Skull Island compared to this. Like, he looks a little bit more CGI in this, but like, I liked seeing the skull crawlers again in here, and I think that was like one of the alpha ones, so that you could see, like, I guess the full breadth,
the magnitude
of Mechagodzilla,
yeah,
and what it's supposed to be. But like, I just thought that was kind of fun because like you get the Stranger Things crew and they're like, oh, this doesn't look good, and then like he screams out of nowhere, and I'm just like, why would you do that? But I was kind of like, because to me, I'm kind of like, yeah, this feels like, oh man, this is, if they're saying skull crawlers, you're like, what are they feeding? Is it a monster? I'm like, but I was like, Mechagodzilla isn't a monster. Like, I knew from the get, I was like, this is a Mechagodzilla movie. Like, let's be honest. Yeah, like, I knew for a fact, like, they're not gonna really fight to the death. They're gonna have to stop and fight a common threat, like all hero fight movies. But no, I really liked, I guess, the introduction of it, and now it just makes me think of like, if they're going to do a Ready Player 2 movie, and like, are they going to use this Godzilla then? Or this Mechagodzilla, because they used Mechagodzilla before and it was like the OG Toho looking one. So I was like, I'm cool with this.
Yeah.
But,
I gotta say the like Apex, I forget his name, the Apex company owner guy, the CEO or whatever, whoever that was. The first moment he showed up on a television screen, I go, wow, that guy looks real squishable. Like, real,
he has a punchable
squishable
face.
He's a very punchable face. There's no way he's going to survive this film. He did not. I was ready to see him get like fist squished into the ground, but he got swiped and is still fine.
While he was monologuing.
Yeah. Yes.
He kind of plays
monologue.
to Josh's what I like the term of like he's such a bad guy. Like he's just done in such a way. It's like that's such a bad guy. Like he's got the
That's
whole
a bad-
goatee thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like in a suit and he's
He
just
has
like
if you close his eyes, if you close your eyes and you listen to him, he sounds exactly like Antonio Banderas. Like I was
What?
listening to him speak and I was like, this is like diet Antonio Banderas.
and now if you close his eyes, then you can kiss him on the forehead because he did a good job.
Yeah.
Great job.
He did. It's like the
Want
perfect
to
bad guy.
go into favorite characters?
Yes.
Sure.
So not monsters.
I feel like for this we should choose
Oh.
favorite monsters.
Yeah. Favorite out of the two, and then like a favorite character side.
Okay.
Because all the
go ahead,
humans are
like-
basically side characters.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Who wants to go first?
Josh does.
I do. It's weird.
I know.
Wow.
I'm going to say Godzilla. I just love Godzilla. Also, like, I didn't say this, but sound design, this movie is just like these movies, period. Like the whoom, 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 whoom,
Oh
whoom.
man,
It's
I
just
love
my
that.
favorite thing. And like the way that they've, I love their roars when they're roaring at each other. Like it was just, anyway, the sound design. So Godzilla.
It's so cool.
Whoom, 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 whoom.
Who's a human?
I'll say Bernie.
Bernie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He's got a
fun.
podcast. I got a podcast.
We just have so much in common.
We have a
I've
lot in
stolen
common. I have a
information.
lot
Watches Bleach.
Yeah, I do. No, just kidding.
Oh my god.
Me. I'm
Mhm.
assuming. Godzilla for sure. I mean, we'll talk about it in the qualm section, but yeah, I love Godzilla, and then I guess my second one is going to be Kaylee Hottie, who plays Gia,
Huh.
Yeah.
a little girl. You know, like
Yeah, she was
she's just-
great.
she she was good. I was like, you know what? I care about this child. And like I care when King Kong cares, I care. And that's it. So
For me, I finally get to explain.
oh
So
god.
that GIF that I posted of Donkey Kong like having his head down and shaking it. My favorite is Kong because the whole time I was watching it, I was like, oh, like we actually mapped out that this happened over the course of like 2 or 3 days, and I was like, this is like Kong's no good, very bad weekend. He's just
I
having
just
a really
wanted to-
bad time. He saved this child, promised to protect her for all time, and over the course of like 2 or 3 days, had his butt handed to him like 3 times, got drugged and dragged on a ship, like had to go to the Arctic, like woke up in the Arctic, and then she's like, go in this hole. And he's like, no. And then she's like, maybe it's a good idea. And he's like, it's better than this shit. And like runs in and then gets fucking yeeted through a black hole. and then like falls.
Server
and then
spawned in a new
no one
place.
told him how this was gonna happen. Falls into another Earth, goes down. No one tells him how it's gonna shift gravity, and then is like, "What the fuck? Now I'm going the other way." And then like lands and is like, "The fuck are we, you guys?" And then
Well,
I just
and then
at the
just
end of
goes with it.
and then just finds out that his whole family's dead, and all he gets is a cool axe and a chair, and like, so there was one point where I was like, I wonder if he like regrets saving this child.
I mean,
I've made a huge mistake.
you know,
but that whole like my GIF and or GIF, however you prefer to pronounce, of him shaking his head is like, I'm too. I just wanted to have a good day.
I'm getting too old.
The
for
whole
this.
movie is him having like the day that he wants to have of just like waking up, taking a shower, having a snack, walking around, and like I didn't sign up for any of this. Like, come on, please, I would just want to have a good day, and he gets to have a good day at the end, so it's okay. But the whole time it was just, I felt for him, and I want better for Kong.
I want better for you.
So I
to-
like Kong a lot in this movie.
to keep it light a little bit, but it is like a big metaphor, if not an allegory. Kaylin, I'm going to only assume you don't know this
reference, but also it's like kind of been put now into like mainstream. But Inglourious Bastards kind of, I think, made it really big for a lot of people. I think Josh might know what I'm going to talk about soon. But they play this game where, you know, you put the card of someone's name on your head and you guess who they are.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where the guy puts King Kong on his head. And they're guessing around like who it is. Like, okay, cool. I was captured. I was taken away from my island. I was put into New York, and then I die. And then the guy who guesses like, "Are you a black man?"
Oof.
And that's like, if you really think about it, like there is a lot of that kind of like, I guess almost like not chastising, but kind of like throwing it into the face of an American audience of like, yeah, like look what, you know, this is kind of like telling you how wrong things were, like of taking people and enslaving them, putting them into a prison and sending them in. And like, to your point, like
They lie to King Kong to get him to go down that thing. It's like, tell him maybe his family might be there. It's like, really, dude? And so they lie. And it's like, the only reason like they need him is so that they can get power for themselves.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's for the wrong reasons, for big old good corporation America.
So it's there is that, you know, that sense for me of like, oh yeah, I'll always respect the story of King Kong. And I like that it's not, you know, of course respect the OG stuff, but it's not a pretty blonde, you know, starlet woman.
I'm happy that it's not. I don't want it to be. And actually my person that I really liked was Gia, because like they don't give her enough credit. They're like she was talking to Kong the whole time. She's like, yeah, I didn't want to tell you guys because you would have used that information for yourselves, and I knew you would have. So look where we are now. You're wanting me to lie to like basically my best friend to send him into I don't even fully know because you guys are trying not to tell me things.
When he's basically like fading out and she's feeling the ground. And
yeah.
It's just like the emotion.
Oh my
And
gosh.
shout out to that actress. This is her first
Kaylee
film.
Hottie.
Yeah, Kaylee Hoddle.
Hoddle.
She comes from a family of they're all deaf, which is interesting.
Oh.
It's pretty baller.
Yeah, I was going to say that I
generations.
really am glad that they did not hire someone who can, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
they
that
hired a
still happens.
non-hearing person.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah,
She was great. She was great.
There is a lot of weight to King Kong's story in general. And I mean, like the whole story with Kong Skull Island of like, you know, like, stop trying to kill me. I'm trying to defend you guys. But everyone keeps, you know, targeting the Kong as a monster. Where in all, you know, where does Godzilla come from is like an allegory of the nuclear bomb, you know, of like, there's a monster from overseas. So there's a difference of two stories. So of course, like if you're going to paint one as a hero, it should probably be Kong and not Godzilla.
Yeah. I'd always been a Godzilla fan, so I was surprised that by the end of this, the way that they did things, that I was a Kong fan instead. Still love my big lizard with lasers, but
yeah, but I mean, I think the cool thing they do is that Godzilla was literally going to die without Kong's help, and Godzilla sees. I mean, there's some commentary too. Godzilla sees Kong as a threat when he has a weapon, but not when he doesn't have a weapon. You know, like what is that saying about people with tools and things that can make them better? So, but yeah, I like that King Kong gets to be the one that destroys Mechagodzilla in that sense. Qualms?
Still sad my canon didn't pan out. But
Yeah, the head battle.
You know,
really cool.
The consciousness battle.
Really cool.
Dang
that's
it.
for you. That's for you, Caitlin.
That's for
I know,
you.
that's
You can
for
still
me.
have it.
I do.
I'll go first in
qualms.
qualms. I want to show you something. This is my bowl of information and exposition. Now I'm just going to feed it to you. It was just like the whole movie. Like there were so many times where it was just like, what's that? Oh, well, it's this and this. Oh,
here's the 20 here's the page 20 exposition. Here's the page 30 exposition.
Yeah,
here's
it's
the page
just like
40 exposition.
there were so many times Bonnie and I were like, well, thank you for telling me. Like there was just like, okay.
I think a
like-
big one was like the amount of energy to charge up that heave thing would light up Vegas for.
Yeah,
Like, I was like, dude, that's so going to be used in the future.
And like there were just so many times where we were like, well, how does that work? Well, blah 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 blah. Cool. And I also like, I hate to be such a Debbie Downer, but just
All right, Debbie.
all right. Surely you can't be
Just do
serious. Humans were useless in this. Like
Yeah.
character, like
Yeah.
there were just so many times that I was like, all right.
Shout out to Kyle Chandler, man.
I mean, it's like I love the actors, all of them, but all of them were just like.
Well,
Like even
he
Millie
was, like-
Bobby Brown, like she was such a big part of the previous movie. This one, you literally probably could have taken that whole section out and been like, cool, it's the same movie.
Well, I mean, I think I say shout out to Kyle Chandler because he was like, I'm Wolf Guy and I'm estranged from my daughter and I have something to live for. And then here he's just like, I'm not here, Dad. I go back to your room and then
love
I'm
that-
here.
You can sum up his involvement in the movie as him looking at his text of, hello, Maddie, call me. Hello? Like, that's how involved he was, can I be part of the movie? No, I'm not answering your text. That's it.
So your qualms then, Kaylin?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really need the people, but when I say that that's a qualm, it's also like, I expected it. I went into this movie being like, the people
Yeah.
aren't going to be that useful. They're here
It's not
to
about
put
that.
yeah, I am here to watch the monster fights. I do not care about the woo-woo science that you're going to tell me that makes no sense whatsoever to make the monsters stuff sound legit. I just want to watch them fight. But thank you for padding it. It provided some entertainment in a different way, not the way you intended. So yeah, I'm on board with that.
Cannon
qualm.
fodder.
Cannon fodder, basically. Yeah, I really don't. I feel like I
'Cause
don't
you know
have any
the
other
intention of the
qualms.
film.
I know the intention of the film, so
Yeah.
I don't have qualms with it because it was really entertaining, and I'm probably gonna watch it again.
Yeah. For me, my qualms are it kind of does a little bit of both without doing one or the other really greatly. And that was like, I kind of like precursored into it, like of Kong Skull Island. Of like, I really liked Kong in Kong Skull Island. Like the humans are kind of whatever. Like, this isn't that episode, but John C. Reilly is the best thing about that movie. And that's saying something because he doesn't come until like an hour in. But like Kong, like, yeah, you get to know Kong. And if it had been only Kong and Gia the entire film, I think we would have been fine. And I think all we needed was maybe Hollow Earth Nathan and bad guy Corporation Man. That would have been fine. And then Corporation Man being like, we were never gonna, blah blah blah. But because there's a little bit of outside context that I have of knowing that the director cut out a lot of things out of the film, and so I'm not gonna bring that energy here. But there's a lot of people who are like, so you're saying there's a Snyder cut of this movie?
Oh my god!
And I love how now Snyder Cut's become like, it's not like a director's edition or like a longer version. It's just called, is there a Snyder Cut to this? Is there one that we're not getting?
Yeah.
And
the answer
like,
will always be yes.
The
Lance
studios
Reddick?
from now on are going to be like, just let the director do the thing.
well, it's
We
like,
don't need a Snyder cut on our hands.
we don't need, well, it's like, hey, are we going to Snyder Cut this or are we going to Joss with this? So, are you jossing this? But no, Lance Reddick, his entire, like, do you know he was like the head of Monarch?
No.
Like he's the head in charge of Monarch in the film, and they cut him down to one shot. And then Jessica Henwick, and then I forget the woman from Rush Hour 2, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Zingzi Li. She's in the film, and they all got cut out completely. And I was just like, why? Also, why are they people of color? Why'd they get cut out? But it's like, and there's a whole opening sequence where Alexander Skarsgård, like for promo, recorded like, when you first meet Nathan, he's about to go into Hollow Earth, and then his entire crew dies, and on the crew is his brother and his girlfriend. And I was like, was that the opening scene? Was that how we were supposed to give a shit about him? And because when you come up to him, he's just like this washed out guy,
Crazy,
right? You're like, whatever.
Crazy science man.
Not crazy. He's just washed up because nothing's made money and he's sad.
He
He's
had
right
manic energy
the entire
for sure.
time. And so with that, it was just like, I know a lot of people are like kind of throwing out like that criticism of like, or critique that like the human characters don't matter. But I'm like, yeah, but I'm also kind of then just watching a cinematic cutscene, aren't I? there's not a really human element that I could care about other than Kong and Gia. And Gia is like probably the most important character. And I felt, I loved all the actors, but I felt like there wasn't enough for them to be like, at least in King of the Monsters, Kyle Chandler's like, I have to go get my daughter and I have to do right by her. And I haven't seen her in such a long time. My daughter's only been with her mother. And then you find out her mother's a freaking eco-terrorist. And then she dies. And you're like, consequence, accountability here.
Yeah.
Who dies? The one-dimensional villain? Okay, cool. Like, that's fine. Like, bad guys die,
And
that's
his
fine.
daughter. Yeah.
Whose daughter?
The bad guy's daughter. She gets squished in the ship.
But she was literally just like, I'm here to check on my investment. Like, there's not much for her to be like, all right, well, okay, which is fine. But like, there was less of like all the stakes are bad. Like, Mechagodzilla hasn't, like, we don't get a chance to see like the wreckage of people dying. Like,
Right.
you're talking about like Man of Steel.
This movie felt very disconnected from the previous ones.
A little bit. And that's where I got a little bit when you were talking about like the roars. I like hearing the roars. Like, I didn't get my complete jolly off when I heard Godzilla's roar. I was like, where's the long high pitchedness? And then like King Kong is just like roaring to roar, right? I'm like, fine. And like when you're talking about the sound design, like I completely didn't catch it at all. Like I think there's so much music. And I thought about one of your tweets, Josh, when you're like, look, sound designers, dialogue matters. Yeah. And I was like, sound design matters. And it's like, I wanted to hear the boom, 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 like the really cool stuff. But like you get it. I think you're, to Kaylin's point, when you're watching the fight with Kong, you're watching Kong run away. You're not really paying attention to the gravitas like Godzilla poses a threat. Like when you saw when like Godzilla fought Ghidorah, you're like, oh, he's back. So there was those kind of things of like, no, like, and that's kind of tough and hard for the film to kind of like fight against knowing that I know these things, but also it's just a sense of like, I feel like you got to share the screen time between Kong and Godzilla that I don't get enough of both to feel like, oh yeah, like I got enough of character from Kong to be like, I side with you. I get why you're the hero, but like, I didn't get enough of like, this is really cool monster action.
Like Kong swinging through the cave and Hollow Earth was fine, but him just kind of running away in Hong Kong was like, meh. I was like, it's a fight.
It.
Oh yeah,
He
it was good. It was a good fight.
And
but
swinging on stiff.
Like I wanted to see him like rip off like a building and chuck that, like doing more of those things. He does it one time. I'm like, oh, come on, man, you got to throw more things. You got them arms, baby. But yeah, those are my qualms. Now we'll go on to
Rating.
So, Josh, you have to go first.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
I am going to give this, again, I had my qualms.
You got fed a lot of knowledge.
I got fed a lot of knowledge.
But you love
I'm
monster movies.
Full. I love monster movies. This is one of those movies that you just kind of like you guys said, kind of the intention of the film. It's just a popcorn flick with monsters in it.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed my experience of it. I thoroughly enjoyed my experience of it. I watched it twice, enjoyed both times. But it still hits the mark. So I would give it I'm going to give it man, it's been a long time. 3.9.
3.9 for Josh. All right, me and Corey got to duke it out. Who's going to go?
I think you should do Corey because he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah.
Well, Corey's is a 3.3.
Wow. Okay.
And then
Should've
mine,
picked Corey.
I think, is a 3 point. I'll put a point first. 3.7. And we all know Caitlin's not going to be the grump.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not even
Caitlin,
close.
What's yours, Caitlin?
4.8.
4.8.
This is exactly what I expected out of this movie. I
This
knew
is
the
what I
humans would
wanted.
be useless.
Wait, did you
I knew the
expect
science.
that you were going to care about King Kong more than Godzilla?
I didn't expect that at all.
So you
That was a
lied.
pleasant surprise. But pleasant surprise though.
It's good.
I
Yeah,
liked.
get it.
I got exactly what I wanted. They fought. There were lasers. There was punching. There was another unexpected fellow to laser and punch. There was woo-woo science that made no sense. There were people concerned about things that they had like
Hey,
no
woo-woo
effect
and
on
science
whatsoever.
are two different things.
They
just
are.
saying.
Right. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, it was great. And then there was the cool chair and like laser axes.
Kaylin's just
stuff.
really mad because her chair is broken AF.
Well,
Yo.
yeah, but like that was a cool chair.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's exactly what I expected out of it. So I can't really be like, oh, why didn't you have my headcanon in there? You could have done more Shakespearean bullshit and made me feel things about every character that you put in there. Why didn't you do this or that? No, I want to watch big monsters fight, and I got it.
Now I
Like,
can't. Now I
great.
can't help but imagine like Godzilla holding the skull of Ghidorah in like a very
Great.
Shakespearean like.
Do that on something else. Not this. This is a blockbuster movie. That's why I so quickly threw away my headcanon of, the family line being part of Godzilla or whatever. I was just like, it's gone. Fine, I'm gonna get my popcorn and watch the rest of them beating each other's asses. Great.
Monsters.
So that's
There you
it.
go.
Monsters. That has been our episode on Godzilla vs. Kong. Everybody at home, what'd you think? Reach out to us on our social media. You can slip inside into those DMs. Join the
definitely wanna-
Discord. Huh?
I definitely want to watch it again in IMAX for
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
sure. I feel like
cool.
I definitely enjoy things more then, and I stop like asking it to be more. But yeah, I think
Don't ask this movie to be any more.
I
or
ask
you'll be
every
real
movie
sad.
to be more. I ask
They
every movie to
literally
be more.
put the characters into ships to deliver them to the plot line. Like, don't expect that out of it.
Right, like-
I'm just saying it. Took six tries to write that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. But no, that's not the episode.
Oh, no, that's
because
true.
I have to
Thank
give the
you. Sorry.
I have to give the shout out to who
I'm a terrible
is-
person, okay?
No, we all
Rude.
forgot. Since Corey's not
true.
in this, we all just fall apart. This tricycle is not a quad vehicle anymore. Okay, so Corey is the grump, 3.3, and those who guessed for Corey. Okay, so hold on. 2 people. Let me refresh one time for the squad on our nerdon.tv/Patreon. Okay, cool. The votes haven't changed. Matt R.
Hell yeah.
and Eric Hickoop are both the Guess That, Gator Grumper,
Hey,
Guesser, Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Green Lantern, Gamera, Ghidorah, Gluten-Free,
going on for a while,
Ghirardelli, Gordon Biersch.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening.
There it is.
Grandmaster Supreme.
Just end it,
Guess
Josh. He'll keep going.
Like I was saying before, join the Discord. There is a movie channel on there that we can continue the conversation there. Stop by, rate and review us. Like I said, anywhere podcasts are heard, we are there. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart. Anywhere that has ratings, stop by, rate us, subscribe. Go check out our YouTube. All of our episodes are video, so check it out. We do stream on Twitch pretty much every day. We're probably going to add another day in the near future, so check it out. Check out our Twitch. Our website, nerdon.tv, has all of this information that I'm spewing out. So check out that. Yeah, this has been a monster of an episode. So
Yes.
thank you so much
It's
for listening.
fighting.
We appreciate you all big time. Yeah, that's the housekeeping. Thank you so much for listening. You know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.